Let's go to East Africa now, where President William Ruto says Kenya is emerging out of debt distress, touting his economic policies despite public anger over tax hikes and slashed subsidies as the country marked its 60th independence anniversary. East Africa's economic powerhouse had been struggling to manage multiple challenges, including depleted government coffers, high inflation, and a plunging currency that had sent debt repayment costs soaring. According to Treasury figures, Kenya had accumulated more than 10.1 trillion shillings in debt by the end of June, equivalent to around two-thirds of gross domestic product. Speaking at a public ceremony in Nairobi on Tuesday to mark the former British colony's Independence Day, Ruto says Kenya is now safely out of the danger of debt distress.
Together, we have made the right choices, sometimes taken very difficult and painful decisions to steer Kenya back from the edge of a catastrophic cliff of debt distress and move our country in a new direction. There is every reason to believe proudly these sacrifices have paid off. I can now confirm, without fear of any contradiction, that Kenya is safely out of the danger of debt distress and that our economy is on a stable footing. Inflation is now 6.8%, down from a high of 9.2% a year ago.
Daniel Juma, a public affairs analyst, joins me to further discuss this. Thank you so much for your time, Daniel.
Thank you for having me.
All right, great. Now, what do you think of President William Ruto's claim that Kenya is safely out of the dangers of debt distress?
Yeah, thank you. I have no reason to doubt the president's statement that our country is out of distress. He is the president. He has all the information. He has all the intelligence. And I believe that his financial managers, who are some of the most qualified people, have advised him so. I am aware that when he took over power, the country, was struggling with economic issues. And one thing that you must give it to the president is that he has been able to, of course, make very painful decisions that have led to us stabilizing the economy, paying off our debts, which was basically incurred by the previous government, which he was part of anyway. But so far, we have no reason to doubt his statement when he says that he's managing. So, of course, Kenyans are very anxious to see, for example, prices of goods come down, prices of fuel, of course, have gone up. And some of these has been able to see the government, lose out, for example, on fuel. So most Kenyans are not using vehicles, and as a result, we have seen that the rise of the price of fuel has seen the revenues from fuel actually go down instead of going up. Yeah, but those are the challenges that the president has to grapple with. It's still a new administration. We have to give him time to see whether those fiscal policies that his administration has come up with will bear any fruit.
Now, how realistic is it to expect Kenya's economy to make such a strong recovery?
Kenya is a strong economy. As we speak right now, Kenya is still the largest economy in the East African region, very large. Actually, if you take, the other economies, put them together, they still don't match Kenya's economy. And I believe in the resilience of our economy. Also, I believe that the president has surrounded himself with serious economists, who I believe have given him, serious advice. And for me, as I've said earlier on, I don't have any reason to believe that the president has been wrongly advised. I believe, for example, today, one of the news that he came up with, he announced visa-free, for for anyone, coming into the country. I believe that such kind of statements will be able to spur economic growth. Will be able to, increase the tourism and help us to be able to sort out the much-needed foreign exchange, which also has been a problem. As you know, the Kenya shilling has been rising, against the dollar, and so I believe that he needs time to be able to see the effects of some of the fiscal policies, and if some of them are not working, I'm sure he'll be able to renege on such policies.
Now, what steps do you think the government should take to stimulate economic growth and also reduce debt?
Right now, the government have, of course, been on a tax increment spree, which, of course, is really affecting the how do you call it? The pocket, the purchasing power of the common Kenyan. So I believe that he should go easy on the taxes and come up with alternative ways of raising money for the economy. Because the moment you continue increasing taxes, I think then Kenyans are not able to spend. And that also interferes with the economy. So I think that's one of the things. He should go easy on increasing, taxes and look for alternative ways. For example, increasing the tax base so that more people are able to pay taxes rather than the few who are working, being the ones that have to continue doing that. So I think that is one of the things that he needs to do. Another thing is that Kenya has a great potential. We are an agricultural economy, and all we need to do is increase our trade deficit. We need to export more. We are producing a lot of coffee, a lot of tea, avocados, and all we need to do is make sure that the diplomats that we send out there sell what is made in Kenya. They need to sell the products made in Kenya. Instead of just going out to play golf, they need to focus. Actually, economic diplomacy should be at the heart of our foreign policy. And I believe the Prime CS, who is now in charge at the Foreign Office in Nairobi, is now focusing on economic diplomacy. Right now, as we speak, I think very soon we're going to have a diaspora conference to encourage Kenyans in the diaspora to be able to invest in the country. So such policies, I believe, will be able to spur economic growth in the country.
I mean, there have been talks by the president to sort of spur diaspora jobs for Kenyans. But let's talk about the potential risk and challenges facing Kenya's economy in the near future.
The risks, just like I've said earlier on, is the negative effects of some of these the policies, especially the increase in prices of fuel, the increase in taxation. There's no evidence, to prove that these increases are yielding any fruit. But we're going to have to wait and see whether those actually will be able to help in managing our economy. But some of the challenges that we face, of course, are global challenges. For example, the war in Ukraine, Russia-Ukraine war, has continued to cause problems to not just the Kenyan economy, but African economy as a whole, world economies as a whole. And right now, as we see the war in Palestine, that also has some kind of shock to the global economy, and also the fuel, the increase in the prices of fuel has been a challenge. And right now, I know that the global prices of fuel are kind of going down, and I hope that that will translate into some meaningful gains for the Kenyans. Another challenge has been the the dollar. The dollar has been the cost of the dollar has been rising.
Okay.
And that has that has really affected the Kenyan businessmen. Those who are who are importing, have not been able to, to benefit from the rise of the Kenyan shillings against the dollar.
Daniel Juma, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.